Okay, so just to sort of wrap up this lesson, most people won't be able to buy a vehicle, whether it's new or whether it's used. Okay, and we've been assuming these are new vehicles we've been talking about in this lesson. They won't be able to buy it outright with cash. I mean, some can, but the majority will have to finance. In other words, take a loan. They can maybe pay for a chunk of it, either by putting a down payment and or a trade-in allowance, but chances are they're going to be financing some. Okay? And it's a car loan, very similar to a mortgage. Okay? Remember, a mortgage is just a fancy word for a loan on a house. But we don't have a fancy name when it comes to vehicles. We just call it like a vehicle. And it's similar in that dealerships, if we're purchasing a new vehicle, they will have some sort of amortization table that we had for mortgages. Right? And you can see we've got an amortization table here, and you'll always be given this. Right? And so what you have to do is you have to figure out, okay, what's your annual rate of interest? How many years have you taken the car loan out for? And then that will tell you the monthly charge for $1,000 of the vehicle, which means you got to times by whatever the value of the vehicle is to get the total financing. Okay. So as an example, we've got one right here. She's able to make a down payment of $5,000 on a new mid-sized automobile. She purchases for $20,340.32. In order to finance the remaining amount, she takes out a 3-year car loan at a fixed interest rate of 8.25%. So this tells us where we have to look on the amortization table. We have to calculate her monthly payment for the automobile. So when we go to the table, we're looking for an 8.25% and 3 years. And that's going to give us 0.25% for 3 years is going to be $31.45. Okay. That's going to be $31.45. And then we have to times that by whatever the loan is. So we have to figure out the loan. So the amount of the loan, well, the price is $20,340.32. But she puts $5,000 down, so we subtract that away. Okay. Which means she's going to have to take a loan out for $15,340.32. And for every $1,000 of this, she gets charged $31.45. So to figure out her monthly payments for the loan, we have to take how much it costs for $1,000 and times it by this. So $15,340.32 times 31. Sorry, divide 1,000 because that's per thousand. That tells us how many thousands we have to multiply by. And we get $482.45 monthly. Okay. So again, this is very similar to what we did when we figured out how much a mortgage payment was per month. Using an amortization table and then figuring out how many thousands and then timesing that by whatever the loan amount was. Deferred payment we did talk about before. Deferred payment, and this is something that you probably want to put on your reference sheets when the time comes. It's your loan payment plus your down payment. Although I never quite understood that, to be honest. Because if you take the down payment, that's not deferred. Deferred means it's delayed. But you put that $5,000 down. You're not going to wait to put that. Anyway. So we have to figure out how much she's going to pay. So in order to figure it out, to get the deferred, first of all, 3 years is 36 months. We have to figure out, because remember, she's paying $482.45 a month for 3 years, or for 36 months. Okay. So the total she's going to pay is going to be the total amount of the loan, which is $482.45 per month times 36 months. That's how much of a loan she took. Plus the down payment. She put down, or she paid. And that means she's going to pay a total of $22,368.20. I guess that makes sense that we include the down payment there, because that's the total amount she's going to have to pay. She's going to have to finance, or she's going to have to take a loan for $17,368.20. So she's going to have to pay that over a period of time. Finally, the finance charge. That's your deferred payments. Minus the original purchase price. So the deferred payment we got from the previous question, $22,368.20. The original price of the vehicle, one assuming that was taxed too, was $20,340.32. So that means it cost her, okay, this is the interest she pays. Because this is how much the vehicle costs. This is how much she had to pay in total in terms of a down payment and taking a loan. So the difference between those two must be the interest that was charged to her. So it basically cost her an additional $2,000 for 3 years to finance this vehicle. Okay, or to take a loan on this vehicle. Is that, we okay there? Okay. Like I said, it's pretty similar to what we did for mortgage. And like I said, I mean, one thing we're going to do, because we're going to finish the course in plenty of time, And then I'd like to spend some time before the exam sort of going through, like giving you what the formula sheet's going to look like. And then we can start building reference sheets from there. Okay. Okay.